Call of the Wild is a modern adaptation of Jack London's novel. It's also based on the 1935 movie. This movie does not take place in the modern day, which I was kind of afraid of when I first saw the trailers for this movie. And when I first heard about this movie takes place in 1890s Alaska during the gold rush in the Yukon Territory, in which a domestic dog named Buck is stolen from his home in California and brought to Canada to be a sled dog. Along the way, he encounters a lot of challenges and yet gains courage inside of himself, but when his sled dog team is broken up and he is bought by a ruthless owner, a man named John Thornton, played by Harrison Ford, befriends him. Is it John Thornton, Jack Thornton, Joe Thornton? Oh wait, no, Joe Thornton's the hockey player. Anywho, these two start to form a bond, and Buck starts to learn his true place in the world. The dog Buck is honestly the best part of this movie. Man, you feel for this dog. You feel bad for this dog. I feel bad for any dog that is in a situation like this, honestly. The thing is, I'm not really huge on the characterization of Buck in this movie. There's a couple things I'm going to talk about with Buck, but overall, since Buck is the main character of the movie, trying to relate to him, it's hard to kind of relate to an animal because even though we are considered animals, we are human beings. Those are dogs. But the thing is that dogs are supposed to be man's best friends. And some dogs in this movie are treated poorly, and you're just like,
I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. If you're looking for ransom, I can tell you I don't have money. But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. I will look for you. I will find you. And I will kill you.
I also really liked Harrison Ford in this movie. Sometimes Harrison Ford just falls into the trouble of phoning it in. Sometimes it just seems like he's not really all that committed. Kinda honestly felt like that with Han Solo in The Force Awakens, where it just kind of seemed like he's like, what the hell am I doing here? And I'm really worried that that's going to happen with Indiana Jones 5. But when Harrison Ford is committed, Harrison Ford is really good. He never had that one quotable line from this movie, like in The Fugitive.
I didn't kill my wife!
Air Force One, he's got that one quotable line.
Get off my plane.
Star Wars, he's got all the quotable lines in the world. Indiana Jones, he's got all the quotable lines in the world. His character never has any dialogue like that, but he is very committed to this role, and I actually kind of sympathized with him. I loved the character, even though there's not much depth to him. It's just the character itself knows how to show love to an animal. And this is really a good movie to watch with your dog. So make sure you bring your dog to the theater when you go watch this, because it just shows how passionate and loving actual human beings can be to animals. The adventure itself is actually pretty fun too. There's not a dull moment in this movie. I will say I was entertained by most of it. Really looking forward to seeing Buck's rise to his calling in life and to see how he would adapt to each situation. I think the movie really hit that nail in the coffin. I think it did a really good job of portraying all that through its imagery and its writing. That's honestly the strongest aspect of the movie, the adventure that Buck goes on in this movie. However, they did not use real dogs in this movie. Every dog in here and every animal, I would assume, is CGI'd. Kind of bothered me. It stuck out a little bit in some scenes, especially in the action scenes. I mean, obviously, you're gonna need a CGI'd animal in those action sequences, but when Buck is just kind of chilling with John Thornton or Joe Thornton or Jack Thornton, whatever the hell his name is, or anybody else, the CGI is incredibly noticeable and it's distracting. It takes you out of the movie instantly. And you just think to yourself, why couldn't these filmmakers just get a real dog for those sequences and then use the CGI dog for the action and perilous situations? I have no idea why that was done. I mean, the CGI is very distracting in those more calm, quiet scenes with the dog trying to interact with human beings. Also, Dan Stevens plays the main villain in this movie, and first of all, the main villain isn't introduced until about halfway through the movie. Second of all, he's not in it that much. Third of all, it's very cartoony. I felt as if I was watching Elmer Fudd, just trying to hunt. That's honestly what it felt like. And speaking of cartoon characters, the character of Buck, unfortunately, does feel like a cartoon at some time. This dog actually feels like Scooby-Doo. I felt like I was watching Scooby-Doo in the wild at times. As much as I love the dog, as much as I am a sucker for dog movies, it did feel like that at times, because he was doing all this silly stuff at times, and it was just like, I'm watching a live-action Scooby-Doo movie without Scooby-Doo talking. That's honestly how I felt with this movie. Everything being said, I don't know where I would actually rank this in terms of my popcorn rankings. I think it would be somewhere between full bucket of popcorn and half bucket of popcorn. I think it rides that fine line between the two. Because if I give it a full bucket of popcorn, I'm going to say it's a great movie and it's could possibly be one of the best of the year. But if I give it a half bucket, I'm more mixed on it, which I probably am a little bit more mixed on it, but I think I had slightly more fun than being mixed. I'm mixed to positive. That's why I'm going to put it right in the middle there. I'm not going to even put a label on it. Definitely check out Call of the Wild. It's a fun family film. I mean, if you want to check out The Lodge, go check it out. Just see anything other than Brahms The Boy 2. I didn't even see the first one. I don't even know if I'm going to see this one. So, I mean, yeah, I think that this is the family movie to watch this weekend. There's plenty of other choices out there. I mean, this isn't my go-to, but again, I am a sucker for dog movies. I think that's why I'm more on the mixed to positive side for this movie, instead of just being fully mixed. So, that's my review of Call of the Wild. What did you guys think of Call of the Wild? Drop me some feedback in the comments section below. I will leave my link to my website in the description below as well. There you will find all my links to my social media accounts. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more reviews and more James Bond reviews coming very soon. My name is Alex Madden, and I'll see you at the movies somewhere.